Welcome to New Realities. My name is Alan Steinfeld. I'm here with Carla Tara, who's an intimacy coach, and particularly for baby boomers, which most of us probably are. She has tuned into how to really spice up a relationship, and let's talk about that because, you know, especially baby boomers, maybe they've been with a partner for a long time, or maybe they've changed partners, and like the whole relationship thing isn't new, but we get stuck in a place of doing it the same way.
Right.
So how can you help people?
A lot of relationship becomes stagnant, and because things become routine. And when routine comes in anything, especially in the sexual arena, it becomes boring.
Well, that's something you said before. A good relationship has to have deep intimacy and hot sex.
Yes.
So those are two interesting parts.
And Alan, what I wanted to go through is, before talking about anything, I want to kind of reveal the truth about the myths that are running around about older age. Some people say, well, I'm 60 now, la la la, sex is,
so there are
done
myths
with.
with physical expression and old, which I don't believe, but what are the myths that's commonly out there? Like, actually, you gave me a list of some of the myths that you mentioned, which I necessarily don't go along, but it's like you say, or the myth is that the passion is just for people who are younger, but
I don't get along either. That's why they're myths. The truth is that the passion is really higher when you are more mature. It goes deeper, and you can keep it for a longer time. And it includes more of life than just sex.
Yeah, I think when we're younger, passion sort of takes over and we go unconscious. When we're older, we're more conscious of our connection. So I totally agree. That's a myth that we have to. Now, another myth that's out there that's saying the penis can alone bring a woman to ecstasy. Well, that's not true.
That's of course not. They're all myths. That's what I'm saying. But some people believe in it. So especially men, when they are so, if they don't know much about sex, and they are so penis focused. The truth is that a woman can enjoy much more the love play. I don't call it even foreplay, I call it love play. Because making love starts the first moment you look into each other's eyes, you touch each other's face, you start love making.
But doesn't it seem more intimate when the penis is in the vagina? Isn't there something about intimacy in that act?
There is, if it's done at the proper moment, not too soon for the woman. The woman has a different level of arousal than man, and she goes in a different, Actually, though, in midlife, the woman is actually much more turned on than when she was younger, much more open, actually. And men slow down enough their sexual thing to be more equal.
But let me ask you another question, is it just as sexual for a woman if it's not the penis, let's say it's the hand or the tongue? Is that
sometimes it can be even more sexual.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be just like, that's, thank you for that.
No, so actually, you're right.
Because it's like goes with that next myth that people think just intercourse is sex.
Yeah, right. Intercourse, the truth is that some women cannot even have orgasm during intercourse.
Now, why is that, though? Is there...
I would suggest because of the different speed that they are in. Man gets turned on too fast, and the woman is not ready yet. Or the angle of penetration is not the right one, and there are many
Do you help women
learn
how to achieve orgasm?
Oh, yeah, that's one of the things I do.
What's like, I know it's probably different for each woman, but is there something that stops women?
Yeah, it's anxiety and wanting to make it happen. They want to prove to themselves, I want to come, I want to get an orgasm. And by doing that, they tighten up their sex center and they cannot really relax and let go.
And the other myth is that a man is not aroused if he does not get Correct. But a man is aroused just by looking at a woman.
A middle-aged man, a young man, if it's aroused, he has a big erection, and that's it, right? But a middle-aged man can be aroused in the whole body, and then include the penis as part of the whole body. Instead of going from here, thought, to here, the whole body is included.
It becomes more of a whole body thing anyway, because it's... you learn how to sort of connect with your whole body.
Exactly.
And whole body's a sexual organism.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
And no matter how big your penis is, it's still smaller than the whole body. So you have so much more energy. More energy going into the whole body.
Right. And then do you also, the whole idea of erection, how do we prolong that? Is there techniques for that?
There are techniques to prolong the arousal, and without ejaculation.
Of course,
there are a lot of techniques, and the best techniques are really breathing. Using certain muscles like the PC muscles, intention, connection with the woman, just sending the energy to her heart instead of just thinking only of sex. And there are many, many techniques, and that's what I really do.
That's what you coach people with.
I coach
I know there's the hormonal thing for men and women, but in women have a much more drastic drop off in their hormonal level in menopause, instant. Right?
Some women have, some women don't. I didn't have a drastic drop.
Drop off in your sexual desire?
Not at all. It went up.
It went up after. So the hormones aren't connected to the sex?
Some women who eat very, very healthily, the fluctuation, the hormones is much, much less.
So you think diet and sexual activity are very closely related?
Oh, absolutely. Diet, exercise, yoga. The stretching, all of this is very, very related.
And the actual sexual exercises, do you teach that, the Kegel muscles?
The contraction,
Yes, and that's also in your course.
The stronger those muscles are, the more under your control they are, the more you can experience pleasure, and the more you can control them, because they're under your control instead of being just acting by themselves.
The other myth is, well, not a myth, it's like the quality of the orgasm changes, right? It's true, and each orgasm is different, but the myth is that the orgasms are stronger and more powerful when you're younger, but that's not true.
For men, it is actually more intense when they're younger.
Is it?
But it's shorter, and when you are older, it becomes more a body orgasm, and you can have several body orgasms.
Men can.
Oh yeah, men and women. They can have several body orgasms before ejaculation. And so for older men, it's easier to sustain that longer time. Yeah.
And for way older people than us, sometimes if their condition's too fragile, I think sex is still a good thing, because sex is like exercise. It increases the body. But some, I guess, doctors would say don't engage in sex. And
why would they say that?
I don't know, but it's a myth.
It's a myth. It's a myth because they've been studying being made that the chances for a man to die because he's having sex, is the same as when you walk out the door and you're hit by a brick.
Really?
Yeah.
But it does happen. You find those
they
politicians.
They make a big deal out of it. Do you understand? They don't make a big deal if they die walking across the kitchen floor and then they slip and they fall. No. It's not really, sex is good for you.
I think sex is. It increases the heart rate and...
It's the best rejuvenation that you can have.
The other weird, it's not a myth, you don't include, but all these sex pills like Viagra.
Oh, yeah.
I've never taken that, but I don't think that's very good for the body. What do you think?
Well, Viagra is prescribed sometimes by doctors for people who have erectile dysfunction. That means they cannot keep the erection long enough to have satisfying intercourse.
What does it do, Viagra?
Well, Viagra increases blood circulation in the penis. Okay, and that becomes less as men, for instance, have diabetes, or they take a lot of over-the-counter drugs. They take drugs to lower the blood pressure.
So then they're taking Viagra, which is another drug on top of those other drugs.
Another cause of ED is also taking antidepressants, which is really amazingly many people, about 50% of all people in Canada, they were saying, take antidepressants.
It's a little boring in Canada. I was just there. But There are natural aphrodisiacs.
Right.
I know like seafood is a natural aphrodisiac, and there's lots of things that exercise is a natural
Yeah, that's good. And people who take Viagra, they need it because otherwise they cannot have sex. It's fine as long as they also take care of curing the cause of that, Right. But if they take Viagra and they don't take care of the cause they cause the erectile dysfunction, then they're actually cheating themselves.
Yeah, you have to go back to the cause because
Always.
your body's meant to naturally be aroused when it's aroused. And it's like, I bet people who take Viagra are aroused when they're, like, because the blood supply has been increased, on the commercial to say, call a doctor if your erection lasts more than 4 hours. So, like, you're walking around and, like, there's, it's something out of balance about doing those things.
Yeah, it is a blessing for certain people, and it is really a curse if you take Viagra without taking care of the cause of it.
Yeah, you need to take care of your overall health for all parts of your body.
Yeah.
But the other myth is that people think after orgasm, that's the end of the sex. There's that, we had that, and then it's like go on.
Finished.
But your understanding is that's not true.
No, it's not true. Actually, the phases is like love play, intercourse.
Well, what's love play?
Love play is when you start talking to each other in sweet way, touching each other's face, kissing, like the foreplay. They call it foreplay, but I call it love play because there is no foreplay. There is just love play. Otherwise, foreplay makes you think that the only play is intercourse. Before intercourse is foreplay? No, it's love play.
Okay, so love play, intercourse, or some kind of arousal thing, and then after...
And then there is the afterglow.
What's
the afterglow? Is your body is completely glowing, and
after orgasm.
After orgasm.
And even if the woman doesn't have an orgasm, or because it seems like then the focus is on the orgasm.
Well, we are talking now if both people have an orgasm and they can have an afterglow. Okay. If one of them didn't have an orgasm, the afterglow is not that good. And I want to talk also about the fact that some women force themselves to have an orgasm. They even fake it in order to get it over with because they can't have it, and so the afterglow is not happening for them. No.
The afterglow, though, is like the peace. How do you describe the afterglow?
The deeper connection with the heart. The heart opens up, the soul level connects much deeper, and there you thank each other for being in each other's life, and you're a great lover. I'm so happy you're in my life. That kind of thing.
But you say, but sex itself doesn't have to end in the afterglow because there's still a sexual
sex
component.
never ends. We are sexual beings. We are always sexually turned on. It's just a matter of when you decide to make love, then you express sexuality. Otherwise, you just let it flow throughout your body. I have sexual energy flowing through my body all the time.
Like right now?
Like right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. It's natural. It's natural.
But I don't know. Is there like the perfect way to help women achieve orgasm? I know you say each woman is different, but if I'm a man approaching one, I really would like to have this woman have an orgasm. What you do? What's the best way?
Well, the best way is communication, sweet communication. Honey, there is no rush. You follow her slowness. If she is slow opening up, follow that slowness. Breathe like she's breathing, and then ask question, is that okay? Is it okay if I touch this? Is there right pressure? Do you want more pressure, less pressure? You just ask.
For women, though, the sex is much more connected to their emotional...
That's why I'm saying start with sweet talking.
Right, and it's like, but you're also an intimacy coach as well, so it's the sex is part of it, and then just, I guess, intimacy is communication, right?
Intimacy is all of it, but it starts with communication. The woman cannot open up her sexual center before she opens up the heart. It's a connection. Man can open up. Head, thought goes directly into the penis, and it can skip the heart.
It can.
And woman, no, she has to open the heart first, right? Before.
No, it's true.
It's true. Yeah, then she opens up when she feels loved and seen and relaxed. She can relax in your arms. You can be strong enough to be slow. Well, men has to be slow with a woman who cannot receive orgasm.
I think it is slow when you care more about that woman than any kind of sexual fulfillment.
Yeah.
That's the intimacy.
Right.
The intimacy starts with the two people opening up their hearts, and then what follows from there is sort of the cream, the climax of that connection.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, right.
That's good.
It's wonderful. Yes.
No, it's good. So in your work, you also talked about the other level of intimacy, like bringing people, with sex into. So people what I'm trying to say is people tend to go unconscious in that sexual act.
Right.
How do people stay consciously connected in your experience?
Okay, in my experience is the man and the woman, both of them need to be really connected with themselves, with their own body. The man sometimes makes the mistake of falling into the woman and then falling and leaving the power behind instead of just keeping his own power and coming and expanding his heart energy to the woman. That's different from falling in love. You rise in love. You expand in love together. Okay, that's one. And the rising in love is important because the falling in love doesn't work.
Right. Well, if a couple's been together a long time, right? How do you suggest in your coaching that they change the patterns of, their lovemaking has been probably the same for 20, and it's just gotten boring.
Right.
So what do you do?
Some of the tips that I give to people is, make believe that you just met. Right? Start like, for instance, I give you a scene. Go to a restaurant, in your restaurant, and make believe that you just met and you can keep your hands off each other, right? And talk. You remember how you used to talk the first time you meet somebody.
But can you do that every day? I mean...
No, you start that way.
Okay.
Then there are other things. You play roles. That's another thing. You play roles. Sometimes the woman might want to put on something really sexy for herself, fall in love with herself in front of the mirror, put music on, dance. So once she is turned on, it's very easy then to surrender into orgasm. Yeah.
But in general, how do we just break the patterns that we have with each other? The day-to-day things. I think it has to change there somehow.
Right, absolutely, and that's why people usually cannot do it by themselves. That's why they have to go to a professional, like an intimacy coach or any,
So what do you do?
I break the patterns,
How?
with energy. Energy and... I talk in a certain way when the energy is high, so it goes right into the unconscious, and they shift.
Oh, give me an example of that. How does it go into the unconscious?
Well, you have to be in a certain level of away from your thought system. Right now, you're thinking.
Yeah.
You have to be away. I take them away from thinking into feeling through breathing and other techniques.
Oh, I see.
So that when they are in the state, when I come in with a statement, it breaks the habit.
So you're working with the couple one-on-one in their home?
Yeah. Well, or they come to me, actually.
Are you coaching them sexually, too? Are they, having sex and you're there,
If they want to, for
Right.
instance, some couples want to find out what position works best. Then they would.
And you're okay with that?
I'm happy to help them.
Not everybody would be comfortable in that type of...
I am very happy to help them, whatever needs to be done to help the couples. I'm really happy.
Okay, because you started as a regular therapist and you probably...
Well, as a regular therapist, I didn't reach the kind of benefits, the kind of changes that I wanted to achieve. This is a much shorter way of dealing with situation. Much shorter. It takes only 2 or 3 sessions to break all the patterns and to do this and that. Whereas with psychotherapy, since you're talking from the head, it might take years before you go to those things.
So the patterns are broken quicker because the people are physical with each other,
yes.
and you're changing their physical patterns of expression.
Right.
By you being there suggesting They do something?
Whatever they need, whatever needs to be suggested at that moment. I cannot do generalizations.
Okay, so you do workshops then in general for more than, groups of people?
Well, actually, no. This is the kind of stuff I do in private. The workshops, I guide people through communication skills, to breathing techniques that they can do then at home. For instance, after the first day of my booming relationships workshop that I would send them home, for instance, the woman and the man are going to do self-loving.
Which is, how do you do, can you...
Instead of masturbating.
Oh, it's another name for masturbate.
Not another name, it's a better name. Masturbating is so sex-centered.
Okay.
Self-loving includes the whole person.
It's like touching your whole
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Falling in love with yourself. And
with
then
all of yourself.
with all of yourself. Yeah.
And then
you include the sex center too, but if you start just with sex, it's very difficult to go to the other parts then.
So from self-loving, then it's easier to connect with your partner?
Yes.
And that's been the case?
Oh, absolutely. If you love me more than I love myself, I'm going to push you away.
So if I love myself first, and then we connect.
And then we can actually grow in love, rise in love, grow in love together.
Then you become a kind of extension of who I am. But that's such a hard piece, the self-loving. I mean, we may feel ourselves physically, but the emotional thing behind self-loving, how do you get people into that?
It's a very difficult. You need to start forgiving yourself for being human, so to say. We all make mistakes. We all do some stuff that we don't like to do sometimes. And when you say, what would you say to your best friend? It's okay, honey. You were stressed. You made that mistake. But if a person who doesn't love themselves makes a mistake, then they would say, how stupid, I shouldn't have done it. That's not self-loving, it's criticism. And that doesn't create this
So we have to stop those voices in our heads from, getting down on ourselves.
Yeah, stopping is not possible. You need to pay attention to the breathing and to the connection and let those voices just float by. They never stop, they're always there. It's just we need to choose not to pay attention to it, not to invite them in and to start interacting with them. When you start interacting with those voices, you lose.
Right. So it's just like, okay.
I know what you're saying. You've been saying them for 50 years.
Right.
Thank you for sharing. Let me be present.
So it's really being present.
Oh, yeah.
And in sex, lovemaking, it's all about?
Being present.
Being present. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, it's interesting you work particularly with baby boomers. that's how you're marketing it. And it's like we have been this generation of exploring sexuality more than any other generation. So as we mature, there's probably ways that we'll express it differently as well.
Right, definitely. We just said it when you were very young. As a man, sexuality is very driven, by these hormones, and you have to do this and right away. It's very difficult to control and to be a good lover and last for 2 hours.
Right.
When you get older, you are actually enjoying. Men become more relaxed with intimacy. Then they start talking more about feelings a little bit. Women start becoming more self-assertive, more like men in a way, and they match more, right? Self-assertive, less critical of themselves. I like myself more now than when I was 18. I was very self-critical of myself when I was 18, Yeah.
So, and this is like your whole work, the fact that people can be more intimate, more expressive of their feeling, and like you say, have hotter, greater sex.
Yes.
And just by these is there anything else that people should know about having hot, great sex?
Well, be spontaneous, like children. The more spontaneous you are, and the more creative you are with your expression, you have the best sex. Because, for instance, here you go. The children are gone, right, from the house. You have the whole house for yourself.
Right.
And now you can start making love in the kitchen table. You can, you know what I mean?
That makes it exciting.
That makes it exciting instead of just in the bed all the time and, let's be quiet because the children hear us, right?
So you can start to scream.
You can scream,
and
yeah.
shout.
You can be free. Yeah.
I think actually screaming is probably helps generate more pleasure as well.
More energy and more pleasure, yes.
So the other myth is, and maybe this isn't a myth, is that women, as they get older, do enjoy sex more.
Yes.
Is that true?
And there is also the myth that, like oral sex is for the young.
Yeah.
And the Kinsley Institute, which is one of the great institutes, they make a lot of studies about sexuality, says that women over 40 do love oral sex much, much more than when they were younger.
Why is that? Just they're more used to their bodies, or
they have less fear of being dirty. They know if they clean there, they're clean. But when you're young, you feel, oh man, I don't know, I might not be clean enough, or my vagina might not be looking good enough, or whatever. Later on, you just enjoy it more. Yeah.
And then sex does become more enjoyable.
Oh, absolutely.
Because somehow it's like they're also able to experience more pleasure because they're more comfortable in their bodies.
Exactly. Yeah, women are more comfortable, men are slower, and they are more in alignment. Actually, the best sex is after 50.
Okay.
Is that good news?
Go. Yeah. Thank you, Carla.
You're
Give
welcome.
people your website so they know how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, it's carlatara.com.
Carlatara.com,
my name, yeah.
And you give workshops and you do private coaching.
Yeah, I do private coaching and workshops.
Thank you for
You're
sharing
welcome.
all your personal research, right? Because you do use yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I am a baby boomer myself, so I know I went through all of this myself.
And this is probably the most exciting thing you can imagine doing with you.
I am the happiest I've ever been in my life. I have 2 children, 2 grandchildren, and when I'm out playing with my grandchildren, people think that I am the mother. Just because I'm so into energetic play with them.
But what do you love about this work the most that you're with couples?
The transformation, to see people transform, get it. Oh my God, all I have to do is this, just really be present. I can be vulnerable and tell him, I'm really afraid of this. Would you please slow down? It doesn't feel too good. You're a great lover. And at this moment, I cannot force myself to ejaculate or to come. May I make you come instead?
This is the woman talking to the man?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I'd rather you first, please.
But if the woman sometimes doesn't feel like coming, sometimes to an orgasm, because she's too tired or because of other issues, the man shouldn't force her to come.
Okay.
She should be vulnerable enough to say, honey, you're a great lover. It's nothing to do with you. I don't want to go there right now. I feel very nurtured by you. I feel good. And I'd rather make you come now.
Thank you. But it's teaching men and women to express themselves more.
Yeah.
But it is exciting, the fact that people are enjoying.
Yeah.
You're seeing people enjoy their lives more and become more intimate.
Yes. That's my joy.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
This is Alan Steinfeld for New Realities. I've been talking to Carla Tara and her website, carlatara.com. And email me at newrealities@earthlink.net and check my website, newrealities.com. Thank you. Thanks.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Do we have that going?
Yeah.
How was it? Yeah?
Once we got started.
Clear? I enjoyed the whole thing.